Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to ask, as a married woman, will you be able to agree if your husband suggests that you sleep with another man for money to support the family? Remember that there are so much financial challenge facing your marriage, so many bills to pay. Will you be able to accept that offer from your husband begging you to sleep with a rich man in order to be able to raise money and support the family? Will you do that as a married woman? This is the case of Rose and Emmanuel. They were married for 15 months. They don't have money. In fact, they were just struggling. But then, along the line, Rose suggested that Emmanuel travel outside the country for greener pasture. There was no money for it though. But she believed in herself and she believed in her husband. So they started working together. They picked up double jobs, struggling to raise the money. And after 6 months, they were able to raise money and process the traveling documents and everything. Emmanuel traveled out. Emmanuel was staying abroad, struggling though, trying to make ends meet. Rose, on her own side, was also praying for her husband's success. She was struggling, trying to work hard to support her husband. Then, after 2 months, Rose and Emmanuel agreed that Rose will come and stay with him because they feel if they are together, things will be a little bit easier for them. And so they started processing papers for Rose to come and join her husband. After 1 year, they were able to achieve it. Rose traveled abroad to join her husband. They started working. They felt that together things would be easier, much better for them, but it wasn't as they wanted it. It wasn't as they planned it. 1 year, 2 years, nothing was working. They were struggling over there. It happens that one morning, Emmanuel came up with a plan. He told his wife that his boss in his office is a very rich man. That if she can find a way to sleep with her husband's boss, he believed that the boss will pay her a huge amount of money and it will go a long way for their family. Rose was shocked. She was surprised. What kind of idea is that? She told her husband that she can never do such. Emmanuel started begging, started persuading her that she should see reasons with him, that they have suffered enough, they have suffered so much, that she should please do that for the sake of their family. Rose was totally against it. She told her husband that since they have started working together, that with time, things will get better for them. But no, Emmanuel wants quick money. He wants anyhow, any source of money, as long as it is money, anyhow it comes. That is him. And so, after so much persuasion and pleading and begging from her husband, Rose decided to accept. She found a way to meet Emmanuel's boss and they started talking. And, one thing led to another. They had an affair. After that affair, Emmanuel's boss paid her huge amount of money. In fact, over $50,000. Emmanuel felt so happy, so excited. He was happy because his dream has actually came true. But do you know what happened, guys? That affair did not end there. Rose continued sleeping with this man, although they are doing it secretly now because she doesn't want her husband to know that she has developed something for his boss. Emmanuel too, at the time, he started suspecting something. He wasn't comfortable again because his wife was no longer giving him attention. She barely talks to him. She barely spent time with him. In fact, she was always with her phone, pressing, shouting, smiling to herself. So Emmanuel was becoming uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't even know what was going on. But the good thing was that they now have the money. He was happy. That's the money he was looking for was now there. He was now able to get whatever he wants at any time he wants it. So, at a time, as the boss and his wife were continuing their secret affairs, they fell in love with each other. Remember, Emmanuel's boss does not know that that woman was married. He doesn't know. And him too was a single guy. So at a time when they fell in love with each other, he proposed to her. And Rose, who have already had this strong feeling for this man, accepted that proposal. Now, in order to take Emmanuel out of the system, as in take him out entirely, so he wouldn't spoil things for her, he decided to send him back to Nigeria, their country. Emmanuel was happy because of the plan that Rose brought. She told him to travel back to Nigeria, that she wants them to start making investments over there. Emmanuel was happy because that was actually what he wanted, to get the money and return back to his country and establish. So Rose sent him back to Nigeria. He traveled back with the plans that after 2 months that Rose will return to him and they were based back there in their country. Guys, after Emmanuel traveled back to Nigeria, Rose had all the time, all the attention she needed with that white man. And so they started making plans for their marriage. The man, that is Rose's husband's boss, have to travel down to Nigeria with her to do the marital rites, pay the bride price, and marry her legally. And so when they returned, that was after 1 month, 2 months, when they returned, Emmanuel had someone told him that his wife was now in Nigeria. He was shocked. How come? Because that wasn't, she never told him that she'll be traveling. She will be coming back so soon. And so he decided to trace her back to her father's house. Lo and behold, that was the day they were doing the payment of the bride price. Emmanuel was shocked. He started crying, he started begging, what is going on? What is going on? Rose now have to walk up to him and tell him that the marriage is over. Emmanuel was about, he had this plan. Why is the sudden change? Rose told him that if a man that called himself a husband could be able to tell his wife to sleep with another man, that man doesn't worth living with. Guys, Emmanuel went on his knees and started crying. He was begging her that the plan was for their own good. It was for the sake of the family. Rose told him that, but I told you that we should calm down and work together, that God will still bless us in the right time. But you wanted quick money. Anyway, she told him that she has fallen in love with his boss, that there is no going back. And in fact, as a matter of fact, he has paid his bride price already and they are traveling back to their base. Emmanuel felt bad. He regretted. He cried. But do you know the funny thing? The money he was actually, he was hoping on was still with Rose. Because Rose, the money was in her account. They had a plan that once she come back and join her husband, they will start the investments. So the so-called money, Emmanuel had no access to it. The marriage ended. So that was what greediness could cause to him. Now, Rose, after the traditional marriage, the payment on the bride price and everything, she traveled with her new husband back to their base abroad. And Emmanuel was left in total perpetual regrets. No money, no marriage, no investment, nothing. So guys, my question is, do you think Rose did the right thing? Do you think what she did was actually right? Because to her, she said there is no way that she feel if she continued that marriage with Emmanuel, that one day he will start using that against her. But in a, though, even though he's the one that pushed her to it, you know, men, how they do. Once you have problem with them, they will start reminding you about your past. So she felt that she can't continue the marriage with him, that it won't work. And in fact, that she has fallen in love with the right man. So my question now is, do you think what Rose did was the right thing? If you were in her shoes, will you do the same? Will you end your marriage and move in with the man that you are falling in love with? Or will you still stick to the initial plan with your husband, getting the money, travel back to your base, and make investment and live happily? Do you think that is the right thing Rose would have done, or just go ahead with her life the way she wanted it? Drop your opinion at the comments. I'll be reading each and every one of your opinion. Guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more amazing stories. Also, tell me where you are watching this from. See you guys in my next video.